Hi, it's Kish, and I am back with another Grown Girl Glow Up video where I provide content to the girlies who are over 30 who want to glow up, who want to transform their lives by building their faith and be encouraged and inspired. And yeah. So the last time I came on here, I shared with you all that I was kind of feeling a little bit under the weather and I had not been able to come on as often as I wanted to. I'm wanting to, on this channel, come on weekly, but it's been kind of like bi-weekly the past couple of episodes, and I was just feeling under the weather, and I'm feeling okay, and I'm just sitting here hanging out at home in my dining room, and it's actually the holiday weekend, so a lot of you, I'm sure, have had a long weekend, so that's pretty cool. I actually worked a little bit today, but I had a friend come over for lunch, which was nice. And speaking of friends, I had a friend who was so kind, brought me back these really cool earrings from Italy. I think they are, I don't know, alabaster or something, I don't know. But I just thought it was really kind to bring me back some earrings from Italy. So one of the last videos, we talked about making friends as an adult. And I don't know about you all, but maybe you've experienced as we get older and we go forward in our lives as adults, it's hard to find time to not only socialize, but specifically to, make friends. And that's something that's important to me, and I'm sure it's important to you since you're watching this. And yeah, so making friends is important because we as humans were meant to, connect and to be together. So let's talk about the types of people who may not be safe options as friends, who should not be granted access to our lives. Because as we transform into the women that we want to be, the mothers, the wives, the business owners that we want to be, we have to be very intentional about who we invite into our inner circle, into our intimate spaces. So let's talk about that. So these are 3 characteristics of people we should deny access to in our lives as friends. So you might have heard of the phrase over the years, birds of a feather flock together, 2 peas in a pod. What does that really mean? Well, I guess what it really means is you are who you associate with. And one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington, he said in an interview one time, as he explained how he became passionate about acting, he said, if you think you don't need a haircut, but you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. And he was saying that in relation to, when he was in college, he, hung around the theater and, he got the acting bug. But that kind of reminded me of actually a scripture in 1 Corinthians 15:33, which tells us, I'm paraphrasing, if you hang around foolish people, they're going to corrupt your character. And as we glow up and transform into that woman, the woman that we were designed and created to be, we want to be very, very careful about who we allow access into our inner circle, and the people who we consider friends. And I would say the first characteristic of someone who we should not consider a friend and should be very cautious of is someone who ignores our boundaries. Someone who ignores our boundaries is someone who doesn't respect us. And that could be something that they do as simple as maybe you say, I don't, talk on the phone or text after 9 o'clock. Maybe you're someone who gets up early and you go to bed early. But if you have someone who ignores that simple boundary by, texting you with an emergency that they have to talk to you about, or calling you with something that could wait until the next day, but they just don't think about it because it's important to them, that is crossing your boundary and not respecting you. So you want to look at that, especially early on if you're trying to develop a friendship with someone and they just don't, respect your boundaries. That definitely is a characteristic of a red flag. So the second red flag of someone who could potentially have characteristics of someone who could be a toxic friend is someone who is going through a lot of trauma in their life. Someone who is currently going through some kind of trauma or pain or life transition that's very difficult for them. That could be a red flag as far as, maybe this is not a safe person to try and build a relationship with at that time. Someone who's working through their own issues and their own pain could, I think they call that trauma bonding. A lot of times when someone who's an empath, like I guess I would consider myself an empath, and maybe you are too, especially if you're watching this channel. People who are empaths really want to be a helper, someone who can be there for someone who we see needs help. But we really have to be mindful and protect ourselves, protect our emotional health by really looking at the situation. And someone who has shared with us that they are going through something that's painful or traumatic or some kind of transition in life that is very difficult for them. Of course, as someone who wants to help, someone who wants to show kindness, especially as a woman of God, you can, maybe do that at a distance and not necessarily want to form a friendship with that person at that point in their life. And a third characteristic of someone who may potentially be a toxic friend is someone who you cannot trust. But for example, someone who likes to share information about other people who they should keep that information in confidence about. I guess that could be gossip. Let's just face it, if someone comes to you with juicy information, spilling the tea about somebody else, they probably are talking about you to somebody else when you're not in the room. And that could be very harmful, especially, if you consider someone a friend. There are times when you might share something in confidence with that person, something that, of course, you wouldn't want other people to know. And again, that could be very harmful. That could be very harmful. So you want to look at that. People who maybe make, shady remarks about somebody else and kind of pass it off as joking, or, just saying something about someone else and they say, it's not something that they wouldn't tell you themselves, and they haven't really told you anything about it themselves, but it's just very, very dangerous. That's coming into dangerous territory when you are associating with someone who can't just keep information to themselves when they were asked not to share information. So someone that you just cannot trust. So as we continue to grow and mature into the women that we want to be these things can be very, very emotionally draining. And that can hinder us from doing just that, transforming into the women that we want to be. And that also reminds me of another Proverbs, I think it's 13:20, where it talks to the point of if you walk with wise people, you will become wise. And if you walk with foolish people, you will suffer. And any of us who've gone through the teenage years, especially, and we've fallen into maybe the wrong crowd, it can cause damage. It can cause hurt. So even as adults, we have to really look at who we allow in our lives. And we definitely don't want to walk with foolish people. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a fool. So if you have any experiences with this, maybe leave them in the comments and we can continue this conversation in another video. But it was just something I was thinking about, as we, go through life, we definitely want to develop those deep and meaningful friendships, but there are just certain characteristics in people that we unfortunately have to really be cautious of. So, all right, I will see you in the next video, and until then,